We are live at the new studio and ready to dive into 2023 Yahoo Fantasy Baseball coming up next on Beat the Odds. Go anywhere. Hello, sports fans. Welcome back to another episode of Beat the Odds. We are going to go live here in just mere moments to show you guys what we're looking at here for 2023 Yahoo Fantasy Baseball. So we are going to be doing a head-to-head snake draft. I actually got lucky and I got first pick in the draft. So we are going to hope that all the scouting and stuff that we've got going on is going to pay off handsomely in this draft. Now, head-to-head, that basically means we are going to be going against other managers every week, and we are trying to win as many categories as possible. So the categories up for grabs are runs, home runs, runs batted in, stolen bases, average, that's batting average, wins, saves, strikeouts, earned run average, and with hits per innings pitched. Getting first pick in a sport like this is always a little tricky because there's no clear-cut number one player in my opinion. I don't really do a punch strategy when it comes to drafting for fantasy baseball. I try to do an all-around strategy. I would like to be able to compete in each category every week. So this year, interestingly enough, we're going to be seeing a lot more stolen bases, I imagine, this year with all the new rule changes. And also, something else to keep in mind, left-handed batters may see a little bit of an advantage with the whole big banning of the shift. So I would put a small premium on those players there, which I'll try to target some of them, of course, during the draft. We've got about 8 minutes here, so some things that I like to do before I get started is I like to go into my queue and kind of get that set up. So the average draft position and the rank really hasn't normalized yet, so for the sake of trying to rank players, I'm going to go off the X rank, which is, I believe the X rank is the list that was kind of prepared, the expert preseason ranks, there we go. So we're going to go off this list to make our picks for this draft. And usually what I'll do is I'll go down to about pick 100 or so, and I'll start finding players that I would be comfortable placing on my team that I'm looking for. So there's Nate Lowe, left-handed bat in Texas here, first baseman. A couple of things that I've noticed here as I was going through doing some research, there is a shortage of quality first baseman and third baseman this year. So I would suggest maybe targeting a solid first baseman and third baseman early on in your drafts. There is a wealth of shortstops and a wealth of second basemen. So the scarcity of trying to get either power or speed or both in those positions aren't going to be difficult to do. However, there's not as much quality, at least from an opening standpoint here with your corner infielders. So I would say for sure take a look at scoring some of the bigger first baseman or third baseman names early on in your draft. Now, the other thing to note here is I would be a little more pitcher heavy in a league like this, because it's all about trying to get as many stats as possible for your team, and your batters are going to play mostly every day, so you don't need a huge back of batters not sitting on your bench not doing anything, where you could be getting pitchers that will do just as much there for you, but will be able to actually get those stats to count. All right, we are down to 40 seconds left. And now I've got a decision that I got to make here as to who I'm going to be choosing first. This is not going to be easy. My gut's telling me, well, between Acuna, Turner, and Judge. I don't think Judge is going to be replicating what he did last year. This might be kind of where I would see him, except for he may be tossing a few more stolen bases. Acuna not going to be hitting nearly as many home runs, of course, as Judge, but I imagine he's going to be much higher than 15 stolen bases here. So, and then Turner is going to be your best shortstop by a mile. So for my first pick, I'm going to bank on a healthy season from Ronald Acuna Jr., and we are going to draft him first. If we can get a 2019-2020 Acuna, that's a 40-40 threat. So let's hope. All right, we are 3 picks up to my turn, and there are 4 players up there. 3 players, 2 picks left. Devers, Alonso, and Goldschmidt. I'm going to get one of the 3. We'll see which one I end up with. I'll be happy with any one of the 3. If I can get 2, well, no, I'll end up getting 1 here. By the looks of it, we'll see which one I get. Either Alonso or Goldschmidt, we'll see. Gonna be Goldschmidt. Goldie is joining the squad. I'm gonna need a third baseman. We're gonna take a look at something here. I don't know if I want to dig that far down for a third baseman. We may have to abort that mission, because there is a couple of players here that I wouldn't mind getting my hands on here for the season. There's DeGrom sitting out there, and he should be healthy and ready to go for a full season in Texas. And then the next third baseman is Austin Riley. So I think I'm going to go with DeGrom and get a solid pitcher up on the board and hope for a nice bounce back season from him as well, at least health-wise. All right, we are 2 picks before our turn. In the early rounds here, I'm targeting, of course, the best player available. You know, it's tricky when you try to compare pitchers and batters. Oh, there we go. The turn's up here. But yeah, I'm trying to pick out the best player available. Corey Seager. That's an interesting thought here. If I believe in the shift, which I think I do, I believe Corey Seager is the right pick here. Being left-handed. Struggled a little bit here with the stats last year. Didn't really break out, but I have a feeling he can do something special here with the new rules. I'm going to draft Corey Seager, my starting shortstop. And then we're going to take Devin Williams, because it looks like I do need to go in on a top-tier reliever, and Devin Williams certainly counts as that. We'll have a full year of closing under his belt this year. So yeah, what I try to do in the first 7-8 rounds is pick the best player available. Try and fill a position. And as mentioned earlier on, I'm trying to see if I can get a first and third baseman off the board here on my squad within the first 6-7 rounds if I can. Because there is a big drop-off for first baseman and third baseman there this year. I was able to get a first baseman. I'm going to have to see if I can get a third baseman here at some point. Most of the third basemen have been picked up here. There's not a whole lot left. Yeah, your best third baseman on the board right now is Gunnar Henderson. So we're going to have to patch together a solution at third. There's still some good options and stuff out there, so I'm not too concerned. All right, we are 2 picks to our turn here. Take a look to see what else we want to be able to get in for this pick. Again, looking for the best player available for a spot that we've got open. I should qualify that. The Oscar is an interesting pick if it happens to fall to us. Ryan Helsley might be the way to go, because if I get Helsley as well, I don't really have to worry too much about relief pitchers. Remember, there's 30 teams, right? There is 12 teams in this league, which means if everybody's gonna get a closer, or if everybody's gonna get 1 closer per team, that's going to be about 2.5 closers per squad. So if I can be sure to get 2 of the top flight closers, that's going to put me in really good position for this season. Ryan Helsley is a beast, so I think I'm going to pick him up. Now, question for me is if I want to go Yu Darvish, which is a little bit riskier. Max Fried. I think I'm gonna go Darvish because I like the strikeout potential here. All right, our turn is next here. Gunnar Henderson's out there. I'm gonna see if he actually drops to me. If he does, I might actually get him. Oh, he did. He picked up Henderson. All right, well that solves that. I want to pick up Jimenez. That's what I'm gonna do. Robbie Ray's out there too. That's actually those are two pretty good picks. That's the way I'm gonna want to do this. Is we'll get a middle infielder. Who knows? Maybe he'll pick up a couple of starts at third base. But he's got flexibility, which is huge in this league, especially if you're not carrying a whole lot of bench for batters. To pick up somebody who has flexibility is going to turn out really well. I wonder Franco. Wouldn't mind picking up Wander. I think he's the real deal here too, but I've got 2 shortstops, so that's gonna be enough. I can't pick up another one here. So we're gonna go Robbie Ray. Get him off the board. See if he can return to Blue Jays numbers instead of last year's numbers, which he actually had. He had an awful start, but he really picked it up towards the end of the year. All right, we're getting close to our next picks here. We are closing in, or getting close to the middle portion of the draft. So once we get to that, actually, I would say this is probably around there. We've already made 9 picks, so we're going to go with our 10th pick here pretty soon. It's now about filling the appropriate positions out of need. So looking at my list here, I don't have a catcher. Don't have an outfielder. I have only one outfielder, I should say. My pitching's pretty good. I'm strong with my starters, and I've got arguably 2 of the top 5 relievers on the team here, so that's going to serve me well. Might want to look at getting an outfielder here. Catcher, there's Wilson Contreras, which is not a bad pickup. You know, I think I'm going to go Wilson Contreras now for next pick. This one's a little trickier. There's not a whole lot out on Jake McCarthy or Seiya Suzuki right now. McCarthy, I'm going to go, has probably better speed. Suzuki's better power. Oh, I think we're going to go. We'll try our luck with Jake McCarthy this year. Anybody out there follow the Diamondbacks? Let me know what your thoughts are on Jake McCarthy. Also, if you like this type of content, be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and stay tuned because we do giveaways. We do have a giveaway we're doing at 1,000 subscribers. So if you haven't yet joined us, now is the time to do so you can get in on the Anthony Edwards PSA slab that I'm going to be giving away. All right, back up to our turn here. We have 2 picks to go. Again, trying to fill some spots. There's a third baseman still sitting out there. I do actually like Jose Miranda in this spot. Now, there's also a pretty solid reliever out here too, and by the name of Alexis Diaz. So I think I'm gonna get him. That should solidify what I need to do here for my relief. You know, I might go Muncy here as well, just like how I just said that I don't want a huge drain on average. But he's another left-handed bat. The new shift rules might do him good. Also Tony Gonsolin that I really like. Man, there's a lot of really good players here. There's Brian Hayes down here too. So you know what? Maybe I'm gonna leave third baseman spot for one more round. Do you know what? No, I'm gonna go with Jose Miranda. Chris Sale looks very appealing. I may give him a shot here because he's either, I don't think he's really a middling player. He's either going to be great or he's going to be hurt. And I mean, it's the middle late part of the draft. I think it's a good spot to take a risk on somebody who can really make or break your squad. This next pick, I think I'm actually going to go ahead and pick up Brian Hayes. Well, all right, coming up to our pick here again. We're 2 picks out. Once again, there's some very interesting names out there for pickup. We're getting close to the end of the draft. You need an outfielder. There's an outfielder that's really like Harrison Bader. I have him queued for a reason. As it stands right now, there are lists that are putting him at the top of that Yankees order. And if that's the case, if that's where he goes, that could be a very, very, very good source of runs and stolen bases with a little hint of power there. I think we're going to pick up Bader here. Wouldn't mind picking up another established pitcher. I think Jordan Montgomery might do the trick. He was pretty solid coming over from New York to St. Louis here last year. Another interesting pick out there in Vaughn Grissom. He's got a little bit of power and speed, might hit for average, but that Atlanta team is so stacked. Like, if he was playing on almost any other team, I'd pick him up in a heartbeat, but he's going to be probably pasted to the bottom of that order there all year. So I don't know if that's the right pickup. I could go 4 closers, although I've got 3 good ones. I don't think I need to go 4 closers. I can always pick one up off the scrap heap because you'll find a closer or 2 during the course of the season usually. I think I'm going to go with Jordan Montgomery here. All right, we are 2 picks before we choose. Now we are in the back half, or back third of the draft, so it's really just about kind of evening the team out there a little bit. So if you're noticing you're missing a stat or 2 that you want to work on, then you can target players that can help you out with that stat. For me, however, I do see a couple of very interesting players still left out on the board. I'm going to try to do something here. I don't know if it's going to work, because sometimes you can take risks, but again, this late, it's pretty, you can feel pretty good about your break. You've got a good idea as to how well you've done by this point. There is a player, and it really depends on who's drafting here. Masataka Yoshida. If you do the research on him, he is they're thinking he's actually going to be a really, really good option in the field there for Boston. Will hit for average, will hit for a little bit of power. So I'm going to target him, but I'm going to wait until my next round. So I got 2 picks now. I'm going to wait another 30 picks or so to see if he's still out there. And if he is, I'm going to grab him there. So if that's the case, then I will have basically my quote unquote steal. I got to pick quick here. Michaelis. Yeah. Oh, it picked for me. Who did it pick? Josh Naylor. Oh no. It took too long. That wasn't quite what I wanted to do. But it's not a bad pickup to have. We're gonna pick up Michaelis. Sorry to all those who are in the draft. I don't normally like taking that long. Actually, now that I look at it there, I probably should have picked up Flaherty. I'm a much bigger fan of Flaherty than I am of Michaelis, but you can't win them all. All right, we are down to 2 picks left. And it looks so far my strategy has worked. Flaherty and Yoshida are still out there. And it sure did work. So we're going to go ahead and pick up Flaherty and then follow that up with Yoshida. And that's going to basically spell the end for my lineup. I've got an entire lineup here plus 1. So always good to have 1 person on the bench here. That way you can rotate in if there's any days missed. All right, 2 more picks until our turn here for our last picks of the draft. And as mentioned here earlier, I'm just going to look to pick up a couple of pitchers here. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Is we're gonna get Lauer and we're gonna get Garrett Whitlock, and that's gonna close off the draft for our team. All right, now the draft is complete. What I like to do is to take a look at the squad and see if we were able to kind of accomplish the goals that we set out to do. The goal that we really set out to do is have a balanced team, something that would be able to compete in all of the categories every week. So I wasn't really looking to punt anything. Looking through runs scored, there's certainly players on this list that will do quite well for me here. Goldschmidt being one, of course. Corey Seager, Acuna, once he's got a full season in him, should be one of the league leaders in that category. And I took a bit of a gamble there with Bader and McCarthy to see if they could actually be a top of the order catalyst there as well. I think I did okay in that category. Next up for home runs, I've got good production from a catcher, which is really good to see. Goldschmidt again, I don't know if he's going to replicate his numbers from last season. He's, 34, 35 now, so he may take a step back from this, but I think he's still going to be a solid source. I would be shocked if he doesn't get to 30 this year. Jimenez is good for a middle infielder. Seager is going to be amongst the league leaders for shortstops in home runs. Miranda will probably post 20 plus. You got Acuna, who could be anywhere from 20 to 40 this year. Expect some double digits here there as well. Same with Brian Hayes. Josh Naylor is good for 20. Yoshida might be good for 20. So again, I feel pretty good with home runs. Runs batted in, a lot of that has to do with the position in the order. So Goldschmidt's going to be in the middle. Miranda is going to be likely in the middle. Seager's going to be in the middle. Brian Hayes will probably be in the middle. Josh Naylor towards the middle of that Cleveland lineup. Yoshida, if he's out to a good start, might be in the middle. So we've got a lot of middle of the order producers here. Should help out the RBI cause. Stolen bases. This is one that's often neglected by a lot of managers here, so I think we did pretty well on this. I count 4 guys that on the squad that can put together potentially 20 stolen bases here for the year, so that's going to do well, I think, here as well. And going to average, we're looking to see if we can get pretty solid average. We like to kind of be around that 270 mark week to week. So looking at here, we may be around that, maybe a little lower, but I think we should be all right with average. All right, then moving over to our pitchers. Looking, of course, wins is tricky because you never really know from one year to the next. It's hard to predict wins. I mean, look at Jacob deGrom. He had 5 wins last season because obviously he was hurt. He's projected to win 5 more this season. So, it's take it with a grain of salt. These aren't exactly. This isn't exact science. I'm putting deGrom more around the 15 win season here. Going to have a healthy amount of strikeouts with good averages. Darvish, I don't know if he's going to get 16 this year. Probably around the same. Robbie Ray will probably pick up mid-teens. Chris Sale, if he's healthy, we can get 30 starts out of him. He might pick up 12 wins or so. Same goes with Jordan Montgomery. This St. Louis team is good. It's a good squad. So the fact that if you're looking to try and get wins, I would highly recommend taking a peek at some St. Louis pitchers. They went late in this draft here, and I think they're going to be at least double-digit win pitchers here over the course of the season, as long as they stay healthy, of course. Eric Lauer, he might get to 12, 14 wins again this season. Garrett Whitlock, we'll see what he does here, what position he plays. And then, of course, with saves, All three of these are understated for saves here. I'm sure Williams is going to pick up more than 15 as the main closer in Milwaukee. Helsley, again, same idea in St. Louis. And then Alexis Diaz, if he's going to hold down the position here all year, I imagine he's going to get more than 10 there as well. But I got three pretty solid closers, which is all that I really wanted to do. So there's balance there as well. Looking at strikeouts, again, we got some big performers here for strikeouts. You're going to get some good strikeout numbers from the bullpen too, which is always key. You don't realize how important these bullpen strikeouts are until you're in a really close battle with another manager here going head-to-head on strikeouts. But the other key, of course, and as I was mentioning here before, is you want to stock up on starting pitchers, so that way you get more of the counting categories as the week goes on, strikeouts being one of the key ones that you can count on. So again, pretty well. I think we did pretty well on that. Earned run average, keep it to about 3, 3.25, 3.5 might be a little bit too high. But going through the lineup here, there's some pretty good performance in here, so I think we'll do all right with that. And then whip, if we can keep it between 1.1-ish, 1.2 at the most, I think we did okay with that. 1.61 is an outlier. That's Flaherty in limited innings, so I imagine he's going to probably be closer to 1.2 as the season goes on. And pretty much everybody else outside of Lauer and Flaherty and possibly Robbie Ray is sub 1.1. So I think, again, we did really well here. I really like this team. I think it's really strong across the board. Maybe a little light in the power department here. We'll have to see how Masataka Yoshida pans out. But the other thing is that as long as you're active, if you find that you have a deficiency in some of the categories early on, you can go hunting as the season goes. Just make sure that you stay on the waiver wire to see who you should be picking up. I think that's going to do it here for this episode. If you guys like this type of content, please make sure to leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet done so already. We also do have a giveaway up here if you're interested in that. There, make sure you become a subscriber and take a peek as to when that contest will drop. We'll be having a contest or a giveaway at 1,000 subscribers. So that's going to do it for this one, guys. Thanks again for watching. We are going to sign off for now. We're going to catch you guys on our next episode.